So I want to do a quick review of my 2005 Toyota Corolla before I sell it here. So this is the S model. It's got the extra front fender and it's got the spoiler in the back, a little bit of a body kit. Man, this car has been an absolute tank. It's been a beast. As with any Toyota Corollas, this thing will run forever. I got it about 67,000 miles or so, and it's now at 110,000 miles. Whatever was up with these rims, they flaked a bunch. All the rims for some reason did that. Not sure exactly why, but this is also from up north. But yeah, this is a really badass car. It's really great. It's small, it's compact. The thing is, whenever you're buying a Toyota Corolla, you're not buying a Toyota Corolla for comfort necessarily. It's about utility. It's about utility and economical, right? This thing gets great gas mileage. I can get like average 35 or so. Take it on a trip on the highway, you're getting like 38 easily. Take a tank of gas. Right now, gas is like, fluctuates around 250, and it's about, it can be up to like $25 to fill your tank. You get like 300 miles or so. So I average it out to be like, about like 36 miles per gallon average, which is really awesome. It's fun to drive. It's small, shifts buttery smooth. It's got a 1.8 liter engine. Some people say it's like kind of underpowered, but I've driven this thing up some pretty big hills and never had a problem. Anywho, the biggest con I have is the driving position. It's really hard to explain unless you actually sit in one, but they definitely didn't make this thing ergonomic at all. It seems like you're always either kind of like it's just uncomfortable, where like you feel like you're sitting back a little bit, so you move your chair forward and then your knees are hitting kind of this plastic piece here. So just they did not do a good job making this ergonomical at all. Like, I had a Honda Accord before this, like a 2003, and that thing was just sculpted. It was comfortable. The driving position was great. This thing is like a box, it's just real simple, big knobs, easy to reach. But one great thing is I just love the simplicity of this car. It's got tons of storage. Like, I'm all about storage. I go camping a lot, so it's got nice big space in here. This broke. This is really common in these things, that this thing snaps off. You put a bunch of pens inside this one. It's got 2 outlets. It's got one here, and it's got one inside the glove box here. It's actually down here in the corner there, the bottom right corner. So pretty good size armrest box here. This is also one of my biggest complaints, where it is so low. Like, even being for a short person, I literally feel like I'm always driving and your elbow's way down here. Like, this thing should be technically about it should sit about 5 inches higher. I was gonna put a piece of foam on it. That would mean I couldn't open it, obviously, but that's one of the most annoying things, is how low this thing is. But back to like the utility and the storage. It's got great storage. It's got this little pocket, you could fit like a pack of cigarettes nicely, or a flashlight, or kind of whatever else you want to put in there, change, I suppose. But it's also got this little thing here for change, technically. It's got decent size, well, pretty dang small, but you can jam decent amount of stuff in there. Power windows, locked. This is the S model, so the S model comes with this the upgraded sound system, where you get a 6 speaker, which is 2 in front doors, 2 in the back, and then you got the 2 tweeters up here, and it sounds pretty dang good for a stock system. Like, I really do like it. As you can see, I put an aftermarket deck in here. Did this all by myself. It was really easy to do. Vents in really simple, easy positions right here. Let's see, it's kind of a cheesy little analog clock here, where it's just like simple 1990s Timex watch green. Also a real simple gauge there, but it's a nice dash. It illuminates white at night. It's kind of pretty. It's easy to see. You can dim it. Actually, sometimes if I'm driving really long, I completely turn it off. You're probably like, that's not safe, but hey, whenever your eyes start to, go bad for the road, like, I don't like any kind of light within my car, so I'll completely turn that dash completely off where it's just all dark. So kind of neat you can do that. Huge glove box. Like, I got a couple different cars since this car, I've had different cars, and oh my goodness, they're tiny glove boxes. This thing is ginormous. Like, you can fit so much stuff in here. You can fit so much junk in here. I love to just have tons of stuff that I need in my glove box. Let's see here. Yeah, the lighting is definitely less than adequate. You won't be able to see because it's daytime now, but they got these two just little tiny lights underneath here where you just click on these buttons, which is kind of nice that you don't need to have the battery on or anything. Gives you a little bit of light down in this area, not by much, and of course it's got one dome light, but doesn't put off nearly enough light that you need, so I keep a flashlight in my car usually. Cool little feature is back here, great for road trips. It's got 2 more cup holders, pretty dope little feature. You can put nice big size drinks in there, and I like to have extra drinks when I'm cruising. One of my favorite things about this car compared to like a bigger let's see here, sedan, right, is that I like to be able to reach in the back seat and grab something if I need it. My Honda Accord was nice, but it just felt almost too big. If I had to get in the back seat for anything, I had to really like get way back there. I had to get out and get around. I guess I'm really lazy, but it's just kind of that perfect little size for somebody where you can just easily reach in the back seat if you need something. So anyways, I will take you in the back, but I'll just kind of point this out here. Nice little kind of like junk change drawer, chapstick, whatever you want to throw up here. 2 cup holders, got the e-brake lever. Always a blast in the wintertime. If you've never driven in snow with an e-brake handle like this, you don't know what you're missing. I'm telling you what, Fishtown, it's living. It is living. There's not much joy in the wintertime that compares to that. Straight up, if you never tried it, try it. It's got a airbag up here. It's got 2 mirrors. They don't light, unfortunately, but they do the job. They do the job. Nothing too complicated there. Always put on some blind spot mirrors. I put those on aftermarket, just a little 3M. Definitely key. The cool thing is that the gas tank actually releases, right? So it's safe. Nobody's gonna put sugar in your gas tank. Obviously manual seats, no power seats. The biggest thing I dislike the most is that you have to release the trunk from here. Hood's right there, and unfortunately these don't come with a trunk popper. So anytime you want to pop the trunk, you have to actually go and pop it from this lever here. And also, I put a piece of tape over here for a while, but this panic button, it goes off all the time. Anybody that probably owns one knows. So I'll show you the back seat and then I'll show you the trunk. Let's see if you can see back here decently. Decent sized back seat. You can definitely fit 3 kids in here, 2 adults. I've used this as a Uber Lyft car, and I've had 3 people in here. Nobody's complained. Kind of unfortunate they don't have any pockets back here, but I did buy like a aftermarket, what would you call it, like a back seat organizer, which is pretty nice. Worked out for road trips. It's got the speakers back here. They're probably 6x9, so they sound pretty decent. One of the other biggest annoyances is that there's no release for these seats. You can't release them from within here. They actually have to be released from the trunk. Kind of stupid, but so pretty dang decent sized trunk actually, like if you can see it well enough. But I tell you what, this thing can fit a lot of junk for a Corolla. I'm telling you, like, this thing holds a lot of stuff. So anywho, you can release, you have to release to put the back seats from these 2 levers right here to come back here, pull those up, and then you actually have to come here and then they'll come down, and you'll see how flat they lay. And of course it's got the spare down here, and should have that. This actually had a little bit of leaking from the spoiler when I first got it. One where it was actually like rusted under here. You can see it's a little bit rusted anyways, and I actually had some water condensate down there, and had to bring it back twice, and they said that supposedly it was leaking through the spoiler here, so supposedly they resealed it, and it really hasn't bothered me. But anyways, move this up. So you can see here, decent size opening from the trunk, and with the seats down. Obviously they're nowhere near necessarily flat, but you know, I've put a bed frame back here. I've put quite a bit of decent sized things. Definitely not big enough that you can sleep in the back. I'm 5'7", but hope this gives you a decent picture of just how much you can bring back here and haul if you need to. Like I've hauled plenty of stuff. So you gotta throw them back up there like that. Oh yeah. So this is the back seat. Like I said, decent amount of room here. And then we'll look under the hood. You know, pretty good headlights. The cool thing too is I got fog lights, which is nice, and you can actually turn those on separately. Give you a little bit more light on the road. Alright. So as I said, this thing is a beast. I've had to do nothing but routine maintenance to this thing. I've had to change the front brakes and rotors. I've got oil changes. Other than that, nothing. No leaks at all. You know, really easy to change the air filter if you need to. The transmission fluid's right here, nice and accessible. The oil's right here, right in front of your face. Everything is just super easy to get to. It's really an awesome car. Like, as for being great on the highway, excellent on gas, very little to no maintenance required. Unfortunately, I just bought a Ford Escape, and it's got a transmission leak, and you know, all kinds of other stuff. The shocks are leaking in the rear, and this and that's wrong with it, and I got to put money into it, and this thing's just been a champ. So that's what you're gonna get with Toyotas, right? It's kind of got an interesting like blower situation where it does, even when someone test drove it recently, they were like, it revs kind of at a high RPM. I don't know if it's just the fan, kind of the way it cools the engine, but it does sound pretty loud compared to probably what people are used to. It might be like, and it does make you a little like concerned, but it's just the way I guess it runs with the 1.8 liter. Yeah, it's been freaking solid. Like this thing on the highway, cruise control, I can easily cruise at like, you know, 70, 75. It doesn't really go much above 80. I've had it up in Salt Lake City where I think the speed limit was like 80, and I was definitely trying to keep up. But just overall, it'd be an excellent car for somebody's first car if they needed one, you know, because it's really safe and it's easy to drive, it's easy to park, it's small enough to get in and out. So really, I'm gonna miss this thing. I got it at like 70,000 miles for I think like, I can't remember, like 6 to 7 grand from a dealership. So I got it for a pretty decent price. I talked them down, and I'm selling it now with 110,000 miles. And I'm getting 4 grand out of it. I could probably get a little more, to be honest. I think I was personally gonna be happy with anything over 3,500 for 110,000 miles. But I know this thing's a tank and needs nothing, you know. It might need a new serpentine belt, they said. You could drain and fill the transmission if you wanted to, but you know, that's pretty much still good. So yeah, could get a little more, but I'm just thinking, you know what, I got kind of ripped off. I want to be fair to somebody else. You know, if it feels fair to me and them, then whatever, we got a deal. Last thing I'll say is regarding this driving position, you know, I'm 5'7" or 8 or so, and it's definitely plenty big enough for me, but it's really kind of annoying that they have this stomp block down here. It's really not too big of a deal. It's kind of, you know, you kind of can like rest your foot on it whenever you're driving long ways, but I kind of just wish it wasn't there and you had that extra foot room. Like, it's kind of hard to see, but just the depth of it, you know. But it takes away like a good like 4 inches or so that you could stretch out. And you know, when you're on the highway and you cramped up, you kind of gets to you. Here's that analog display, like I said. I don't know what else to say about it. I always like in-depth kind of reviews and tours of cars, especially if you're in the market for buying one. And really, this thing's been good to me. I've taken it all around the country. Haven't had a worry in the world. I've had it in pretty decent snow too. I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania, like one of the most snowiest town cities, and I have just all-season tires. And with a front-wheel drive, it's probably partially driving habits. You know, I'm a pretty dang good driver in the snow compared to most. But yeah, I mean, I really haven't had too much trouble. Of course, with all seasons, they're not winter tires, but you know, I've got around, I've skated a little bit, but this thing will power through. You know, it's got pickup too on the highway if you step on it. Now, passing gear, not so much. Like if you really need to get on it and like pass a car, and especially there's those like risky situations where another car is coming on the other side of traffic, that's unfortunately when it's like it doesn't really have that pickup. You know, it doesn't have that RPM or whatever they say to really drop it and really go. Like this thing, like if when I go to pass some people, I'm just like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like it's like you're just floored. It's like, and it's like you're still just kind of like barely passing them, and you got this thing pinned like a go-kart. You're like, come on. So yeah, 1.8 liter engine. You know, it's not going to be a powerhouse. It's for economy. It's for fuel savings. So I'll just say that. The air conditioning worked good. The heater works great. Yeah, solid car. If you can get one, I'd still get one while you can. It's older. Obviously, don't have like the fancy like Bluetooth controls on the steering wheel or nothing. And about the steering wheel, it's kind of one of the most annoying things too, that it's got this triangle design. Because sometimes I like to put my hand, like grab it like this, but like right in the middle, kind of steer like this sometimes. It's kind of weird that it's just like, what, 10 and 10 and 6 kind of, or whatever they call that. It'd be 7 and, oh man, I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. 5, whatever. You know, so yeah, cool leather steering wheel, but I don't really like the position of it. Got the dinkiest horn ever. Like the bitchest horn ever. Like you try and honk at somebody and you just embarrass yourself. It's seriously pitiful. It's pitiful. Like they should have just put on like a ooga ooga horn, like this is the worst horn I've ever experienced in my life. So anyways, I'm gonna be done rambling. I hope that helped you out a little bit. Sorry for the crappy video quality. I'm selling this tomorrow, so I just kind of wanted to put a video together before I got rid of it for good. Silver Falcon, gonna miss it. Peace out, y'all.